Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls. I'm your host VGMKoren, and in the last one we skirted our way around the Undead Cathedral and ended up in a building with a strange hammering going on. And I promised that we would immediately go and find out what that was. I lied. We're instead going to go out this way first and show something else that I nearly forgot about in my last video. Also, take a moment to appreciate these trees and just how low that quality is on their leaves. That is really unfortunate. Alright, so over here we have a giant gate, which is closed. But more importantly, we have this guy.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegmeyer of Katarina. Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall, or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. So here I sit, in quite a pickle, weighing my options, so to speak. Still closed. Still closed. Still closed. Still closed.
Aren't you happy that we came and met Siegmeyer of Katarina? Oh, he is an interesting character, but yes, those gates are closed and can only be opened by doing something that we have to do. But for now, let's go ahead and see what's down here. You totally didn't read that message that I opened. But yes, if you did, we have a blacksmith.
Well, you must be a new arrival. I'm Andre of Astora. If you require smithing, then speak to me.
Andre of Astora is probably the most useful character in the game. He can repair all of your equipment, which is something that you can actually do elsewhere, and I will show you how to do that soon. Let's go ahead and repair everything. Generally speaking, Dark Souls does have durability on its weapons and armor, but for the most part, it doesn't matter. You will almost never break your weapons and armor unless you're fighting something that specifically breaks weapon and armor. So, you can also ascend your weapons, but we don't know what that means just yet. I know what it means. Actually, it'll be much more useful just to talk about. Let's see, I don't think I have any Titanite shards, which is really unfortunate, but we can purchase... I need souls. Right! I spent all of them. Anyways, he's talking about not going hollow. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and break away and go ahead and talk about these for a minute. Souls of the Lost Undead are items you can use to gain souls. Now, you might be tempted to use these immediately, and I really recommend that you don't do that. The reason for this is that these souls, for as long as you hold on to them, will just stay in your inventory, which means that if you die and die again without reaching your corpse, you'll still have them in your inventory. So they're an emergency supply of souls, so to speak. So I'm just going to use up the ones that I've gathered now because, well, generally speaking, when you're visiting a blacksmith or something and you put all of your points into leveling right before you come down and visit, you don't have a whole lot you can do with them. Now then, let's...
Hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged?
Go ahead and get back to this guy. So, let's talk about weapon reinforcement. This is probably one of the most important things about Dark Souls. And while we're at it, you can also buy the weaponsmith box, armorsmith box, and repair box, which will let you repair, reinforce at the campfire from him, things that you should buy, and a standard set of equipment. But again, reinforcing weapons and armor. So, as you can see, just by using 1 Titanite shard and 200 souls, I can upgrade my Uchigatana to do 9 more points of damage. This is extremely important, and also it's worth noting that also increases the scaling of the weapon as well. So as you can see, the next time I level it up, it will give me an additional 9 points of damage and then 2 more from the scaling I get from my parameters, which is the little hand you see down there with a B next to it. So that's all really fine and good, and probably the best way to increase the amount of damage you do. Modifying equipment requires embers, which can only be used when a weapon hits +5 or +10, and we'll talk about those more later once we get some embers. So for now, let's just see what he has to say.
Most weapons and armor are mighty sturdy indeed, but every hunk of metal has its breaking point. If you notice durability running low, it's time to repair. You can ask a blacksmith like myself, or do it on your own with a grindstone. The nice thing about weapons, they never betray you, so pay them a little respect, eh?
Well, that's suitably depressing.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
And so, yeah, like I was saying, and let's go ahead and show something down here. Boy, that guy looks terrifying, doesn't he? Let's leave before he fries us with lightning. As I said, this is the best way of increasing your power in Dark Souls, because just putting points into strength and dexterity won't increase a weapon's power that much until they've been suitably reinforced. So, especially in the early game, upgrading your weapons with Titanite shards and then upgrading your defensive attributes can be more useful. Now, of course, we still have to ring the bell on top of the cathedral, as we found out from one undead way back when. Let's go ahead and break his guard that he wasn't using, and you can immediately see that I'm doing slightly more damage. Slightly. Shields. I've said it before, but with every fight, just start with your shield raised. It's far more useful to take an extra 2 seconds to kill an enemy than to get your face wrecked by accidentally not guarding an attack. These guys are fairly easy, but I actually really like them because they have shields. It makes it more interesting. Good luck. Because, speaking of guys with shields, oh my god, he hurts. I'm not entirely sure how well I'm going to do against him with my shield. Dark Souls is fun like that. When you fight giants like this, the best thing you can do, yeah, my shield. Well, as you can see, one thing that I am doing is whenever I shield a blow, I immediately drop my shield to get increased stamina regeneration for a couple of seconds between blows. This is because you won't always have a whole lot of time between their strikes, and getting that slight bit of stamina back might actually save your life, as it did there. That hit would have broken through my shield and done damage if I had just taken it straight up. I really shouldn't be trying to roll. My character is wearing armor that's honestly just too heavy to do that. One thing I should try and do is parry his attacks, but parrying is always slightly risky. And by slightly, I mean extremely risky. If you nail it, great job. You get to do tons of free damage, and it is, in fact, the best way to fight most enemies in Dark Souls. As you can see, I did way more damage by parrying his blow than by just blocking it and getting one hit in. Oh, no, you don't. You don't get the Estus Flask. And he drops a Titanite Shard in case you don't just buy one. Now, there are several other very important things we have to do in this episode, and one of them is this, a Firekeeper's Soul. So, I didn't actually introduce the Firekeeper. That is my fault. That guy is going to be up there and is going to be a pain until we can kill him a little bit later on. So, but we don't need to do that right now. You can just do that all you like. What we need to do right now is to step on this switch. And this switch is going to take us down, and is also one of my favorite and most telling moments of Dark Souls. Hopefully I'm looking the right way. No, I'm not. This is the way I want to be looking. And yes, that was a secret path you saw up there. We'll go back and visit that later. But you might recognize we're back in Firelink Shrine. This is the moment that Dark Souls, for a lot of people, just instantly clicks, because suddenly, wow, you are back where you began.
I will teach.
And you have this guy who has miracles, which I actually have decided to alter my build path.
Of the teachings depends.
Okay, right. I've decided to alter my build path a little bit, so we won't be using him like I thought we were going to. I was going to go a faith healing build, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be all that beneficial, and there's other magic I want to show off. I will talk about miracles, however, for the rest of the episode, because I originally intended to come down here and learn miracles from him and talk about them for essentially the rest of the episode. But before I do that, I need to find a staircase, which... is it over there? Where is it? It's somewhere. Firelink Shrine, no matter how many times I've traveled through it, always turns me around at least a little bit. I don't know entirely why that is, but it does. Wow, where is this staircase? Is it over here? Am I being completely... No, this is the graveyard. Alright, I'm going to talk about miracles while I attempt to find this staircase. There it is, it's over there. Miracles in this game are reliant on your faith stat and grow in power by your faith stat, and are mostly healing and or damage soaking abilities. Yeah, it was right next to me this whole time, so that's what faith will increase. Faith will also increase the scaling of a certain type of weapon. And here we have a Firekeeper who cannot speak, but can reinforce your Estus Flask. And once you reinforce your Estus Flask, as you can see, you have it +1 down there. That means that it will heal you for more. Always use Firekeeper Souls for this, with one exception that we'll get into, as always, later. But for now, unless you want to learn sorceries, or, I'm sorry, miracles, that's all you can really do in this area. There are a couple other places you can visit, but you're probably, like me, not powerful enough to go visit them just yet. So, also you might have noticed that I have 10 Estus Flasks. This is because the bonfire at Firelink Shrine is always, what is the word? We're gonna call it reinforced. That's not the word. Kindled. There it is. A kindled bonfire will always give you extra Estus Flasks, which is extremely useful if you're going to go fight a boss. But as I said before, or actually I don't think I did. Also, that guy does not respawn. He gives you the a Titanite shard and never comes back. So, like always, when you're seeing an enemy, you want to try and aggro as few of them as possible. Dark Souls is heavily weighted towards one-on-one fights, and generally speaking, you can win most one-on fights with ease. But once it's 2-on-1, 3-on-1, that's where you're going to have trouble. Alright, I was talking about miracles, and as I said, they are, for the most part, that was a terrible attempt at a parry, and I am sorry for trying it. And here's exactly something I don't want, which is fighting two enemies at once with a guy hurling magic down at me at the same time. Thankfully, Estus Flask HP recovery is fast. When he has his sword up like that, don't strike at him. He is attempting to parry you. And I don't want to show that because that will literally nearly kill me. You can, however, use an Estus Flask and get nailed by more sorcery while he's doing it. I believe I was attempting to kick. I attempted to kick, completely failed the button prompt, and died. That is pretty much Dark Souls in a nutshell. But at least I showed the animation, right? I'll meet you back up there. And we are back, and yes, of course, that guy is still firing magic at me, and I've managed to aggro both of the enemies at once because I am nothing if not impatient, and this actually might be one of those where I end up dying. If you are getting cornered in dark... Oh, that was nearly very bad. Alright, so, in this situation, the best thing I can really do is get in here and think about... Oh, what? Well, that's a bug. Okay. Right, well, that's a bug and shouldn't have happened. Okay, but seriously, what I want to do now is leave. Because no matter what, I'm not going to win that fight. Dark Souls is a game about retreating. If I had attempted to fight all three of them at once, I probably would have died and lost all my souls in the process. Which really just wouldn't be that great for anyone. However, of course, it leaves me with the task of pressing this button again and getting back up there. On the bright side, I can talk about miracles. Miracles are based off your faith. Miracles consist of healing spells, such as Heal, Great Heal, and also barrier spells like Barrier and Great Magic Barrier. It also has a few offensive miracles in the form of Lightning Spear and an enchantment that will increase the amount, or give your weapon a lightning buff and increase the amount of damage it does. Alright, as you can see, these guys are still a little bit angry, but I need to get my souls back. That is not really optional, especially considering the area I'm in. Okay, you're going to die now. Or me. Anyways, one of the reasons I died is because I attempted to do a kick and completely failed at it. Kicking is extremely useful, and I believe it can break parry stances, but I didn't prove it, obviously, because I didn't kick at all. That guy, for some reason, never healed up. Enemies can use Estus Flasks. I don't know why he didn't. Enemies with smaller shields, such as this, are the ones that are much more likely to attempt to parry. Okay. I'm going to drink that Estus Flask and attempt... Oh, he stopped parrying. Well, I was going to try... Oh! Magic hurts a lot. And, of course, thankfully, that guy, once you kill him, will not respawn. Yes, there it is. Kicking breaks parry stances, just like it breaks shielding stances. Really, the most important thing to learn about Dark Souls 2 combat is kick them. Kick them all the time. And also, of course, parry. But I'm better at kicking than parrying, I guess you could say. That seems like something everyone could say. I'm not great at parrying someone's blade, but I can kick them. I'm great at that. Oh, that is slightly ridiculous. And of course, here we have this guy up here, along with all of his minions. His many minions. As you can see, they are all enchanted. This enchantment, the glowing, I believe, increases the amount of damage they do. It does not increase their HP. Thankfully, all of these enemies can be one-shot. On the downside, as you can see, they do an extreme amount of damage. The glow you're seeing when I take damage is the glow from the ring that lowers the amount of damage I take when I have low HP. It's probably why I have lived through a couple of these attacks. Oh, there we go. Thankfully, corridors are your friend. Corridors are always your friend. Huh. That dance is the buff dance, by the way. That is what powers up his minions and makes him a stronger fighter. Thankfully, like most mages, once you actually can get up in his face, he dies easily and never comes back. And here we have another enemy. As you can see, Dark Souls, even in its early levels, and I would actually argue that the earliest levels of Dark Souls are probably going to be some of the most that you die on, just because Dark Souls is so much different than the combat of most games. Aha, more humanity. Excellent. Higher drop rate for all that armor I'm not using right now. However, the reinforcement actually brings up something I wanted to talk about, which is weapon and armor reinforcement. For the most part, even though there are best weapons and best armors in this game, a lot of them, most of them even, can be used to beat the game with, as long as you reinforce them. Because all weapons and armor can be reinforced the same amount, they all end up doing similar damage, or having relatively similar protection, though there's light, heavy, medium armor, as you might guess.
Oh, still human, are you? Then I am in luck. Could you help me? As you can see, I am stuck without recourse.
Using the mystery key opens up this door.
Thank you. Yes, sincerely. I am Knight Lautrec of Karim. I truly appreciate this, and I guarantee a reward. Only later.
Well, that seems reasonable enough to me. So we're going to leave him alone because, of course, we would. He's going to reward us with goods. Maybe. But, in any case, with that good deed done, and a heroic victory leap, we are almost done with the Undead Cathedral. What we have left is... what do we have left? Let's go ahead and grab this. What we have left is the approach on the stairs, and I will talk about that a little bit as we get up there. There's not a lot to say, because we got that guy. I'm great at random commentary. Just the best. But one thing I do want to say is I want to point out the danger of fog walls, which is what we have up here. Fog walls almost always take you to a new section of a level or a boss. In this case, it will be a boss. However, I have only 3 Estus Flasks left. I'm down to half my HP, and I'm pretty sure I can get back here far easier if I go back and do this again. So one thing you might want to consider in Dark Souls is turning around and going home. This might be counterintuitive to some of you in that you might not want to try the boss immediately, but it can be a good idea, especially when you have a much smaller amount of resources. Now, you can use Homeward Bones to go home, but generally speaking, if you can walk home, you should walk home, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So in the next one, I will meet you back on this ledge, and we will go through this fog wall. I hope to see you then.